Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said her party Awami League is always sincerely dedicated to the development of the country and its people. The Premier said this while addressing a relief distribution programme at Government Mojaharuddin Bishwash Degree College at Kolapara in Potuakhali, organised by the district administration. Mentioning that the overall development of this southern region was only possible as Awami League is in power, she said there were many people who came to power, but they didn't do any development activities for this region. Protecting living standard of the people is the main target of her government, she added. Sheikh Hasina said the Awami League government is doing whatever needed for ensuring basic needs of the people. Her government has been able to stand beside the people during such natural calamities as the country is witnessing continued democracy, she said. The socio-economic development is taking place in the country as continued democracy is prevailing here, she added.
যে সমস্ত রাস্তাঘাট ভেঙে গেছে সেগুলি মেরামত করার ব্যবস্থা নেওয়া হয়েছে। পাশাপাশি বাঁধ যেগুলি ভেঙে গেছে বাঁধ নির্মাণের কাজ ইতিমধ্যে আমরা শুরু করে দিয়েছি। যেখানে যেখানে যাদের বাড়ি ঘর ভেঙেছে তারা যাতে ঘর বাড়িগুলি আবার মেরামত করতে পারেন, আবার নির্মাণ করতে পারেন, সেই ব্যবস্থাও ইনশাআল্লাহ আমি করে দেব। অন্তত এইটুকু ভরসা আপনারা রাখবেন। দেশের মানুষের কাজের জন্য আওয়ামী লীগ সবসময় নিবেদিত প্রাণ। আমরা আপনাদের পাশে আছি, আপনাদের পাশে থাকব এবং সব ধরনের সহযোগিতা যা যা প্রয়োজন সেটা আমি করে দেব। বাবা মা ভাই হারিয়ে আসলে তো আমি নিঃস্বরিক্ত, সব কিছু সহ্য করে সেই শোক বুকে নিয়ে শুধু আপনাদের পাশে দাঁড়িয়েছে। কেন? কারণ আমার বাবা সারা জীবন আপনাদের জন্যই কষ্ট করেছে, আপনাদের ভাগ্য পরিবর্তন করতে চেয়েছে। আজকে দারিদ্র্যের হার কমাতে পেরেছি। সার্বিকভাবে একটা দেশের উন্নয়নের যা প্রয়োজন সেটা করে এই দেশটাকে আমরা উন্নত সমৃদ্ধ সোনার বাংলাদেশ করব। আমাদের আধুনিক প্রযুক্তি জ্ঞান সম্পন্ন জনগোষ্ঠী গড়ে ওঠে। দেশকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যেতে হবে। জাতির পিতার আদর্শ বাস্তবায়ন করে মুক্তিযুদ্ধের চেতনায় অসাম্প্রদায়িক সোনার বাংলাদেশ ইনশাআল্লাহ গড়ে তুলব।
Presided over by Kolapara Awami League Vice President Nirmal Nundi, the function was also addressed by State Minister for Disaster Management and Relief Mohammad Muhibur Rahman, Awami League Joint General Secretary AFM Bahauddin Nasim and Organising Secretary Advocate Afzal Hussain. Earlier, the Prime Minister distributed relief materials among the cyclone Rimal affected people of this area. Sheikh Hasina also undertook an aerial visit to Motbaria and Pathurghata areas of Potuakhali district to see for herself the trial of havoc caused by the recent cyclone Rimal. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina exchanged views with the divisional officials after distributing relief goods among the victims of cyclone Rimal. Prime Minister's Deputy Press Secretary Shakhawat Moon told journalists that Divisional Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, civil and military officials and district-level senior officials of different departments were present at the view exchange meeting. The Prime Minister inquired about the progress of different projects ongoing in the coastal region and directed all concerned to complete the work within the shortest possible time. The Prime Minister also made directives to officials concerned to ensure necessary supports to the victims of Cyclone Rimal so that they can recover the losses as soon as possible. Earlier, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina visited Sheikh Kamal Bridge at Kolapara in Potuakhali. Sheikh Kamal Bridge was constructed over Andhar Manik River at Kolapara. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said Bangladesh wants to introduce scholarship in marine sector for small islands and African least developed countries, LDC, after the name of Bangabandhu through International Maritime Organization, IMO. The Prime Minister said this when IMO Secretary General Arsenio Dominguez paid a courtesy call on her at Ganabhavan in Dhaka this morning. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, Prime Minister's speechwriter M. Nazrul Islam said that the IMO Secretary General gladly received the proposal. The scholarship awardees will be trained in Bangladesh Marine Academies. The Prime Minister appreciated IMO for their efforts to free the crews of hijacked Bangladeshi ship MV Abdullah within a month. Sheikh Hasina called upon the IMO to take appropriate measures in ensuring safety and security of marineways. During the meeting, shipbuilding and recycling, alongside the climate change issues, prominently came up for discussion. Sheikh Hasina said her government has enhanced the safety measures in shipbuilding and recycling industries. The Prime Minister said Bangladesh is exporting ships to European countries as both the public and private sectors have engaged in shipbuilding. Prime Minister's Ambassador at Large M. Ziauddin and Principal Secretary M. Tofazul Hussain Mia, among others, were present. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has sought assistance from Finland to continue GSP Plus advantages from the European Union, EU, for a few more years to smoothen Bangladesh's journey towards prosperity after its graduation to a developing country from LDC. The Premier sought the assistance as non-resident ambassador designate of Finland to Bangladesh, Kimmo Lattevirta, called on her at Ganabhavan in Dhaka this morning. Prime Minister speechwriter M. Nazrul Islam said this while briefing the media after the meeting. The Bangladesh Premier said her country is going to graduate as a developing nation from 2026. She highly appreciated the excellent bilateral relations between Bangladesh and Finland. About Rohingya issue, Sheikh Hasina said the forcibly displaced Rohingyas have become a huge burden for Bangladesh. The Finland envoy also expressed his country's keenness to invest in energy and information technology, IT sectors in Bangladesh, particularly in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence and electric grid management. He said his country has expertise in electric grid management and wanted to invest in this sector. He also said that a business delegation from his country is coming to Dhaka soon to explore investment opportunities in Bangladesh. Prime Minister's Ambassador at Large M. Ziauddin and Principal Secretary M. Tofazul Hussain Mia, among others, were present. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry called for building mass media as smart media using modern technology. She said this while addressing the 53rd founding anniversary of the Daily Ganakonto at a local hotel in the capital today. Liberation War Affairs Minister A.K.M. Mozammel Haq spoke on the occasion. Publisher and editor of the Daily Ganakonto, Nizamuddin Jitu, presided over the function, while H.M. Ibrahim MP and FBCCI Vice President Amin Helali spoke on the occasion. The Speaker said the media is expanding during the tenure of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina-led government. Bangladesh is currently going through a golden period of information flow. She said the mass media has an important role in the political, social and economic progress of the country. Democracy is strengthened through the spread of free media, she added. Road Transport and Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir has directed the authorities concerned to expedite monitoring on roads to check against recurrence of accidents as road crashes go up due to lack of proper surveillance after Eid. He issued the directive at a meeting today, organized to discuss outlines for ensuring safe and hassle-free journey during the upcoming Eid al-Adha. The minister said it has to be checked so that no helpers turn drivers.
ঈদের পরেই অ্যাক্সিডেন্টটা বেশি হয়, গতি বেড়ে যায়, বেশি ট্রিপ নেওয়ার জন্য অস্থির হয়ে যায়। এই অস্থিরতাটা অনভিপ্রেত দুর্ঘটনা ডেকে আনে, যেটা হয়েছে গত ঈদের পরে। এবার আবারও এ ব্যাপারে আমি সংশ্লিষ্ট সকলকে স্মরণ করিয়ে দিতে চাই, এই দুর্ঘটনার পুনরাবৃত্তি রোধ করা আমাদের দায়িত্ব। ঈদের পরে মনিটরিংটা কেন দুর্বল হয়ে যায়, এটা একটা প্রশ্ন চিহ্ন ঝুলেই আছে। হেল্পার ড্রাইভার হলে তো অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট হবেই, হেল্পার যেন ড্রাইভার না, বিশেষ করে লং ডিস্টেন্স, এটা আমাদের খেয়াল রাখতে হবে।
The Road Transport and Bridges Minister stressed the need for additional surveillance at the entry points to Dhaka and other spots, as well as ensuring necessary number of vehicles for a smooth Eid journey free of traffic congestions.
চন্ডাতে সমস্যাটা হয়ে যায় প্রকট, এবং যানবাহন সেখানে প্রয়োজনের তুলনায় কম থাকে, হাজার হাজার শ্রমিক রাস্তা দিয়ে হাঁটতে থাকে, তা এতে যানজটের কারণ সৃষ্টি হয়ে যায়। এই বিষয়টা বিশেষভাবে মনোযোগ দিতে হবে। নির্মীয়মান যে রাস্তাগুলো, সেই রাস্তাগুলোর কাজ অন্তত 7 দিন বন্ধ রাখতে হবে। আরেকটা যানজটের উৎস হল মেয়র হানিফ ফ্লাইওভার, সেখানে 1 ঘন্টা 1.5 ঘন্টা পুরা ফ্লাইওভার অচল হয়ে যায়। এই বিষয়টা সিটি কর্পোরেশনের সাথে বিশেষভাবে আলাপ করা দরকার।
Civil Aviation and Tourism Minister Mohammad Farooq Khan has said the third terminal of the Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport will be opened by the end of the current year or the beginning of the next year. He said this today while visiting the progress of construction work of the third terminal. The minister said the progress of the third terminal is 97% and work is going on in full swing to complete the rest 3% work of the terminal. Mentioning that the government has a plan to construct a second runway to increase flight operation capacity at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport, Farooq Khan said efforts are going on to construct a second runway despite some obstacles. The Surma and Kushiara rivers exploded at least at 15 points due to collapse in river protection embankment caused by upstream floods. In addition, the rivers are overflowing and waters are entering localities, inundating new areas. In the meantime, low-lying areas in Goainghat, Jointapur, Kanaighat, Jokiganj and Companyganj went underwater. District and Upazila administrations opened a control room to tackle the situation. Many roads, including Silet Tamabil Road and Shalutighor Goainghat Road, have been flooded, halting movements of vehicles on different routes. Due to this, tourist spots in different areas in Sylhet have been closed. In addition, locals have been asked to move cautiously. The flood-affected people are being taken to shelter centres. Local authorities said if necessary, the army will join the rescue operations and relief activities. LGRD and Cooperatives Minister Mohammad Tajul Islam has said wastes of sacrificial animals must be removed within 24 hours and the places of sacrifice of Eid al-Adha must be cleaned. In the past, all types of waste were removed before sunrise on the next day of sacrifice. The minister said this after a preparatory review meeting on national Eidgah preparation, cattle market management, sacrificing animals at designated places and quick removal of waste on the occasion of Eid al-Adha at the conference room of the ministry today. Dhaka North City Corporation Mayor Atikul Islam, Local Government Division Secretary Mohammad Ibrahim, Ghazipur City Corporation Mayor Jayeda Khatun and senior officials of different ministries and departments were present at the meeting. The local government minister said a hygienic point should be fixed at a specific place for sacrificing animals. The minister said fake currency detection machines should be installed at all sacrificial animal markets across the country. Fierce street fighting and Israeli bombardment continue in Rafah a day after tanks rolled into the center of the southern Gaza city, sheltering hundreds of thousands of civilians. Israeli strikes killed at least 37 Palestinians, mostly in tents. Israel's military says it seized control of the entire length of Gaza's border with Egypt, known as the Philadelphia Corridor, signaling it has deepened its ground invasion despite international condemnation. Meanwhile, Israel's National Security Advisor, Zachi Hanegbi, says the war on Gaza could last another 7 months to achieve the destruction of Hamas's power. The US has scolded Israel at the UNSC for its continued pattern of significant civilian harm, saying it must remove all barriers to the flow of aid at scale through all crossings. At least 36,171 Palestinians have been killed and 81,420 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza since October the 7th. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has called upon the international community to ensure Palestinians in the Gaza Strip are not displaced from their war-ravaged territory. Sisi said this at a forum of Arab leaders and Chinese officials in Beijing today. He also urged the international community to stop any attempt at forcing Palestinians to forcibly flee their land. China is this week hosting Sisi and several other Arab leaders for a forum at which discussions on the war in Gaza were expected. Sisi's comments come after the Israeli army said Wednesday it had gained operational control over the strategic Philadelphia corridor along the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt. The corridor had served as a buffer zone between Gaza and Egypt, and Israeli troops patrolled it until 2005 when they were withdrawn as part of a broader disengagement from the Gaza Strip. After more than 5 weeks, countless hours of testimony and a mountain of documents, a New York judge instructed a jury to make a historic decision whether Donald Trump is guilty or not guilty of a crime. On Wednesday, a day after both sides made their final pitches to jurors, Justice Juan Merchan delivered over an hour of deliberation instructions going over each of the charges and detailing the elements of the alleged crime. He explained to the 12-person jury the bar that prosecutors have to meet to convict the former president guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It is not sufficient to prove that the defendant is probably guilty, Justice Merchan told the court. In a criminal case, the proof of guilt must be stronger than that. During the morning court session, Justice Merchan delivered a variety of guidelines, advising jurors not to base their decisions on biases or the criminal convictions of other witnesses in the case. The former president has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records in relation to a hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels, who claimed she had sex with Mr. Trump. He denies the encounter. Hong Kong convicts 14 activists of subversion in biggest security case. Former opposition lawmaker Leung Kwok-hung is among the 14 who have been found guilty of subversion. The court acquitted 2 of the defendants. Hong Kong has found 14 pro-democracy activists guilty of subversion in the largest use yet of a China-imposed national security law. They included former lawmakers Leung Kwok-hung and Helena Wong, journalist-turned-campaigner Gwyneth Ho, and ordinary Hong Kongers who joined the mass protests of 2019, such as nurse Winnie Yu. They were among the 47 activists charged with trying to overthrow the government by organizing an unofficial primary in 2020 to pick candidates who can run for office. A volcano in southwestern Iceland has erupted for the 5th time since December, spewing red streams of lava and triggering the evacuation of the popular Blue Lagoon geothermal spa. The Icelandic Meteorological Office, IMO, said the eruption cloud reached an altitude of about 3.5 kilometers at the beginning of the eruption, which created a fissure that was estimated to be more than 1 kilometer long. The IMO had reported intense earthquake activity before Wednesday's eruption, with about 400 earthquakes measured in the past 7 days near the Sundhnúksgígar Kraftaræli. Industries Minister Nurul Majid Mahmood Humayun has said Bangladesh is working following the Hong Kong Convention for Sustainable Development of the ship recycling industry. He said this when IMO Secretary General Arsenio Antonio Dominguez Velasco met with him today. The minister sought cooperation from IMO so that the shipyard owners get soft loan from development partners and international organizations. He also sought assistance from IMO for setting up training institutions for sustainable development of the ship recycling industry. The IMO Secretary General said they are working closely with the concerned partners for ensuring sustainable, secured and environment-friendly shipping industry in Bangladesh. The IMO Secretary General expressed hope that the ship recycling and construction industry of Bangladesh will reach international standard with the support of Bangladesh government and IMO. The Secretary General of International Maritime Organization, IMO, Arsenio Antonio Dominguez Velasco, has said they will work for solving the problems of on-arrival visa for the naval officials. He said this during a meeting with the State Minister for Shipping, Khalid Mahmood Chaudhry, at the Secretariat today. Later, the State Minister said he discussed various issues, including safety and security of maritime sector, green shipbuilding and Hong Kong Convention with the IMO Secretary General. He expressed gratitude to the IMO Secretary General for providing all-out support for releasing MV Abdullah from Somalian pirates. Senior Secretary of the Shipping Ministry, Mohammed Mustafa Kamal, Bangladesh High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and Bangladesh Permanent Representative to IMO, Saida Muna Tasnim were present on the occasion. On now to weather. The Met Office, in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow, said rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind is likely to occur at many places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Mymensingh and Sylhet divisions, at a few places over Dhaka and Chattogram divisions, and at one or two places over Khulna and Borishal divisions, with moderately heavy to heavy falls at places. Night and day temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country, said the Met Office. Moving on now to some sports news. Five points. To wind up the bulletin, here once again are the main points. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina distributes relief materials among the cyclone Rimal affected people of Kolapara in Potuakhali, saying government will provide all necessary assistance, including rebuilding homesteads of the affected. Bangladesh willing to introduce Bangabandhu Marine Scholarship through the International Maritime Organization, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Road Transport and Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir instructs to increase vigilance to check post-Eid road accidents. The third terminal of Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport to be commissioned by the year-end, informed Civil Aviation and Tourism Minister. Wastes of sacrificial animals will be removed within 24 hours this year too, says Local Government Minister. Israeli tanks intruded into the center of Rafah, killing 53 more Palestinians in fresh attacks.